What's up, y'all? Day two. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. We are still in Unit 1, Rigid Transformations and Congruency. But today we're on Lesson 2, Naming the Move. So our goal is just to be a little bit more precise about what we're doing and the vocab we use when we're describing those moves of figures on a plane. So take a second to pause your video, and I just want to see if you can kind of guesstimate. What do you think the estimated rotation of angle rotation would be from quadrilateral A rotated position to match up with quadrilateral B? So hopefully you pause it, and see, and just guess. Try it. You never know. Take a second and guess. Um, but so if I'm looking at this right, and I'm thinking about rotation, you could have done two ways. You could have gone counterclockwise, or you could have gone clockwise. Okay, so counter would have been going from right to left. And I would say, I don't know, a little bit more than 90. Maybe you could have said about 100 degrees of rotation. Okay. Now, if I'm looking and if you wanted to go clockwise, gone from left to right to match it up, it's definitely more than 180. So I would say you could have said something about 270 degrees of rotation. Okay. It's quite a bit larger. So here's another set of dance moves. Let's just practice, get back into rotation of what we did yesterday, and just see if you can remember how to describe the moves from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Pause the video and try it and give it a shot. But I would have done from 1 to 2, 1 unit to the right. And then if you're looking at this, we haven't talked about this, but from 2 to 3, right, it looks like it's kind of mirroring itself. Okay, so we have a name for that I'll talk to you about, but we call it a reflection. It looks like it reflects itself. From 3 to 4, we definitely have a rotation, right? It turns 90 degrees clockwise. From 4 to 5, we're going 1 unit up. And then again, it looks like it mirrors itself once again. It looks like we're having a little bit of a reflection from 5 to 6. Okay. Um, so hopefully that kind of helping you remember what we did. We're introducing the idea of reflection for this one as well today. So now that we have this process here, let's dive into our specific vocab words. So number one is going to show us the idea of what it looks like to do a translation. A translation is when your vertices, your right, we talked about our vertex, these points on our shape, slide and they don't flip, they don't turn, they don't change anything, but simply slides. For instance, if we were to slide this here, okay, it's just going to slide on an imaginary line to match up with itself. Okay, so notice how all of our vertices line up again, right? So we have this imaginary line here, but each of them do have an imaginary line that they're following across to match up on. That's a translation. If I go down here, we now are looking at a rotation, right? So we could do, right now it's at an 180-degree rotation, but we can rotate this shape whatever we want to do 180 degrees to match up on itself. Right there, it's matching. That's 180 degrees clockwise rotation. Now, we could have gone the opposite way and done 180 degrees counterclockwise to match up on it if we wanted to. That is what we call a rotation. So there's two now: translation when it slides, rotation when it rotates around like a fixed point, around a fixed vertices or point. And then this last one is what we call a reflection. Okay, it's like when you're looking in a mirror and you see a reflection, it's a mirror of itself. It's a reflection across a line or a point. Okay, so we have this line of reflection here. Okay, and we can actually, right, we can shadow this. If I wanted to move and do a line reflection there, we could get it as well. All right. Um, we could do the line of reflection right here and have it mirrored across itself. But you have all these different lines of reflection. So if I wanted to line right on top of that, we have our line of, oh, it's a little bit off. But we have reflection as our last little piece that we'll talk about today, okay? Watch the next video to get the official vocab words that I want you to learn today. Well, quickly I'll show you this, right? This is what it looks like to have those imaginary lines from each vertices for translation. Rotation, right? We always have a number of degrees that we do with rotation. And then our reflection always has an imaginary line of reflection as well. So we have rotation, translation, reflection of words we just learned.